Mike Boone, one of our dearest and most valued friends and supporters. You listen to his show with this young man. He calls himself the Cell Guru. Welcome back, Corey Herscu.
Herscu.
So Boone heard you on our show. Corey was a great appearance. Talked about technology and...
I was actually going to say, before we even jump into it...
You brought us a present.
Yes, BlackBerry was listening, and they sent you guys gifts.
What are they?
No
Those are the new
way.
BlackBerries out there, the one I was talking about. One for you and one for you.
That's
What, these are new
amazing.
phones?
Sealed in box, brand new phone.
Come on.
Get out.
Amazing. That's
Boone,
great.
you're dismissed.
Yes.
Go jerk it somewhere.
Go fuck
He
yourself.
Whoa!
Those phones,
phone?
those
What do you
phones
think
will be on
about
Kijiji
that?
before the show's over.
I'm about to say, what's the over-under that he says to me? Okay, Corey, off
iPhone
the
boy
mic.
and Android man, they're not touching those phones.
Corey Herscu made a lovely appearance talking about all things technology or technological. Boone came in the next day and he told an anecdote. Now, Boone, why don't you recreate the anecdote and then,
I'll be
like
brief.
a courtroom, we will sit in judgment.
Amazing.
All right, so I'm in Gatineau having a lovely dinner, courtesy of General Motors.
Yes.
You're sitting at the table. My wife is my future wife at the time, but she's my wife now. Is at the table. You were at the table. I was telling stories about TorontoMike.com. That's why I was there for Toronto Mike.
Oh, that must have been a riveting dinner.
It was fantastic, dude.
The ladies were
I
all
don't know. I want to hear all of this.
That's right.
more at TorontoMike.com. So I'm sitting there, and then I spoke about TorontoMommy.com. I had a plan for TorontoMommy.com. And then I said aloud, I said, I think I'll do something with TorontoDaddy.com, but I don't own it yet. And then 1 second later, Corey whips out his phone, which I can't remember if it's an iPhone or an Android device, but he whips out his phone. He has a GoDaddy app on his phone, and he buys TorontoDaddy.com,
With a big
and
middle finger up.
he shows it to me. I just bought it. And he's got this, like, asshole grin on his face.
All right, so that's his.
Okay, now Corey,
Speak into the mic.
this is your turn, and then Judge Fred and Judge Howard.
Okay.
There will be a judgment, but I think this phone was a nice move.
So first and foremost, he's a liar. All right, no.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Whoa,
I'm joking.
No, he's joking. First of all, my wife was
joking.
there,
I'm
so I
joking.
did
I'm
not
joking.
embellish at all.
Excuse me.
He just called me a liar, Mr. Glass.
You'll be able to respond.
So so we're all sitting at the table there. He doesn't mention that there were other mommy bloggers there, and we were discussing when we were all sitting at the table. If he was first to mention it, I apologize. I don't recall him mentioning it when we were talking to the mommy bloggers. I said it would be interesting. I'm surprised that there's such an insurgence of mommy bloggers that there aren't so many daddy bloggers. And she looked at me and said, I don't think there's as much desire for it. So I went, from what I recall, when she said that to me, I bought it. So if there was ever an issue, I would have hoped, Mike, being a mature, you're 10 years older than me now, so you should have come to me, son.
We know
listen,
that's not true.
Listen, I think that what you should have done is not been a capitalist prick and bought it on the spot there. If you wanted to, we should have discussed it like men, because you didn't tell them that night you were banging on my door ready to knock me out, and I was too scared to come outside because you had like your Hulk mode going.
Problem with this is he's doing a bunch of like fiction in the middle of a very serious discussion. So, like, look at this face. How do you have a serious discussion when he's making up nonsense?
Freddie Lama, what say you?
More and more, I'm giving less of a fuck.